What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Rest Podcast. And today we're talking about how to deal with getting ghosted as a photographer, filmmaker, social media manager, maybe you own a video agency, whatever it is where it's a situation where you've got a client's inbox that has your contract and a deposit invoice in it, and they've just got to sign it. They just got to pay the deposit invoice. Then you can get started. And you're in this weird in-between where they've verbally committed. They're like, yeah, we want to do this. Let's move forward. But they don't.
Or maybe they're super interested and they seem like they want to book with you, and yet they've got all these other people that they have to ask, and they have to
talk to my
husband, they got to check in with their fiance, whatever it is, and you're stuck in the waiting game. You're not quite sure how to deal with it.
Yeah.
We want to talk today about how you can actually prevent that from happening. So prevent the problem before it even starts, and then how you can deal with it as well after.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really fun episode. This episode was actually sparked from a conversation we had with some people in round 14. Shout out to Marlon. Shout out to Will, shout out to Daniel. We had their pod strategy call, which their pod is where we put them in accountability groups of 3 throughout the 6-week mastermind. They meet with each other every single week. We jump on with them the first week to do a little private strategy session. It's super fun. And this was a conversation that got brought up literally today. And so we're like, let's record a podcast.
Super smart.
So
good
cool.
question. Really good conversation. And we're not immune to this. This happens to Christy and I too. It's just how you deal with it.
Yeah.
That's super important. Okay. So we've had our fair share. Trust me. The things we're going to be talking about today are battle tested. Christy and I have had our fair share of getting ghosted over the 20 plus.
Ghost busting for 10 years.
Yeah. 20 plus years of experience as professional photographers, filmmakers, owning a content agency in the wedding space and in the brand space. So what we're about to talk about today is applicable to both. But real quick, as Christina said, we are in week 1 of the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind. We had just gotten started on Sunday. This is so awesome, guys. It's 36 amazing businesses. We told you about all of them last week. We're going to be updating you week by week on their wins and everything. So you're going to hear a week 1 update come next week's podcast. But so jacked up about that. Get excited. But yeah, this topic, getting ghosted. How do you deal with getting ghosted? What do you do? You're just waiting for the client to respond to you, or you're waiting for them. They said they just had to talk to their boss or talk to their wife, talk to their husband, and they just are not getting back to you. When is too early to follow up? How do you deal with this in the first place? So we're going to talk about a couple different things in terms of follow-ups, but mainly some preventatory stuff. Is that a word, preventatory?
Preventative. But close.
That sounds better than preventative. Preventatory. Okay, that's not a word. Preventative stuff. We're going to talk about some preventative stuff that is going to help you, prevent this actually happening from you as much as you can. Okay, so there's 6 reasons why you are getting ghosted right off the bat that we need to cover, and then we're actually going to give you a fix, a solution, a pain reliever to all 6 of these reasons why you might be getting ghosted. Yeah. And these are the exact same fixes that Christy and I use for all 6 of these reasons. So number 1, okay, you might be getting ghosted because you are having sales calls with clients or potential clients, but not all the decision makers are on the call. You never stated you wanted them to be on the call. So an example of this in the wedding industry is, the bride jumps on, but the husband does not, the groom does not, right? And so the classic thing on a wedding Zoom call or a discovery call is, I got to go talk to my husband about this. And it's I wish I would have told them both to be on the call because it would have been a better call and then they could have made a better decision, right? So that's number 1. Not all the decision makers are present, whether it's a bride, whether it's a marketing intern that needs to go talk to their boss. It's an issue, okay? Number 2, second reason why you might be getting ghosted is you haven't really given them a reason to book. So they might like you, they might want to work with you, they might be super interested in having you do their project, whether it's their wedding, whether it's some video project they're working on, it's a photo campaign, it's a rebrand, but they don't have any reason to book now. They're like, great, we want to work with Joey or we want to work with Christy, and we might as well just hold them in our back pocket until the time is perfect, or so we think, right? You're not giving them a reason to book. Therefore, they're not ghosting you in their minds. They're just waiting to respond to you for when it's most convenient to them, okay? So that's problem number 2. Problem number 3 is there's too much friction. Your steps feel complicated. It's not clear. They weren't sure of the next steps. You didn't lay that out clear enough. So the fact that a contract and an invoice is sitting in their inbox might be very clear to you, just sign the thing. But to them, it's I don't know. I don't really know what the next steps are. I don't know when I should do this. Do I wait until we're ready to do the project or until it's a week before the project? Do I have to do it now? So it's important you clarify those things. Number 4 is unspoken objections or fears about working with you. So if people have things that go unspoken, objections, meaning they're objecting to hiring you, and they don't clarify those, you don't bring those up, you don't talk about those, well, then you're probably not going to get hired. And they're probably going to be having these reservations about booking you, and that's going to make them ghost you, okay? Last but not least, or number 5, is they need more time to think about it. This is very similar to having objections like, oh, I need more time to think about it. There's probably some big objections behind that. They just don't want to voice those to you. And then last but not least, number 6, they're probably just not the right fit, okay? And you might need to move on. So we're going to talk about how to know if you need to do that. So let's jump on into them. Number 1.
So number 1 is when not all the decision makers are present. The fix is as simple as this: getting all the decision makers on the call. So how you do that is if you've got, let's say, a couple and you're going back and forth in the email, you set up a call, make sure you say, hey, are you guys both going to be on the call? I want to make sure I can chat with both of you to make sure that we get understanding around what's important to both of you guys. It's just super important that both of you guys are there. So just make sure that you book a time where both of you will be present. That's huge, because think about it. Like, oftentimes when you're chatting with either maybe the bride or the groom, and you have such a phenomenal conversation with them, or in the brand space as well, you have a great conversation with a marketing intern or with someone in the marketing department, maybe they don't have the actual full power to make the full decision. You can have a phenomenal conversation, but nobody will sell you as well as you. So don't let someone else try to go sell a decision maker on you. Actually be the one to sell them. So make sure you do that in advance. You ask, hey, you know what? Who's going to be making decisions on this project? I'd love if everyone would all be there on the same call together. Like, let's find a time that works for you. So just making sure all people are present that are making decisions, that will cut out a lot of the back and forth that needs to happen after the call and the waiting game that happens after the call. So as simple as that. Just get all the decision makers on the phone call at once.
It's not complicated, but it's a huge fix to getting ghosted.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So number 2 is you might be getting ghosted because there's no reason to book. So if there's no urgency, there's no action. Okay. So if someone's like, I like you, I want to work with you, but there's really no rush for me to book, then there's no rush for them to book. So don't be surprised when your contract or your invoice or your message is left unread, because they're just like, well, I'll get around to it when I get around to it. Okay. Yeah. So the fix to that is you need to create some sense of urgency, where it's either it's scarcity. So there's 2 different things here. Urgency is like, act fast because you'll get a bonus or you're going to get something. If you're urgent with your action, something is going to be beneficial. Scarcity is if you wait, you'll miss out on something. Okay. So scarcity would be an example of like, hey, our wedding calendar is filling up. We only have 3 spots left for 2026. I really want to make sure that we don't miss out on booking you or your date gets taken. So do you want to book right now, right? That is an example of solving scarcity. An example of solving urgency is, hey, on our end, we are, booking up, or we're getting busy, or we're running something right now where I really love to reward couples, or I love to reward partners or brands that like to book with us on the spot. So if you do book with us, we're going to give you an extra hour of coverage at your wedding if you book on the call right now, or if you book in the next 24 hours. Or a brand example would be like, if you book today, instead of a 14-day turnaround, we up anyone that books on calls to a 7-day turnaround. So you're going to get your content much faster. So again, you're giving them a reason, a very clear reason on why they should book now. And if you don't give them a reason on why someone should book now, as a photographer, filmmaker, social media manager, if you're on a video agency, in the wedding space or the brand space, don't be shocked when your clients are not booking on the spot, or they're not booking within 24 hours of that sales call. So it's really important to create some type of urgency or scarcity that is going to give them a reason to book now.
Yeah.
Very important.
The third way to reduce ghosting in your business is to remove friction in next steps. Oftentimes you have this incredible sales call. It's so good. You guys are totally vibing. It's awesome. And then it gets to the end where you start talking about pricing. You start talking about contract. You start talking about deposit. And your response is, awesome. Well, you're ready to move forward? Great. Give me 24 hours to send you a contract and an invoice for the deposit. I'll email you, right? That's like the number one way to introduce ghosting into your relationship is by taking basically the hottest time that they're willing to buy and moving that to a time where they're going to be less likely to buy because it's sitting in their inbox, or there's confusion, or you're not sure if the payment went through, or maybe they thought it came through but it landed in junk. You want to remove all ability of people getting lost or people ghosting you by removing the friction of next steps and actually doing it on the call.
Yeah, this is huge.
Have a contract ready. Have the deposit ready, as well as a payment available for it ready.
Payment link,
actually have people buy and sign on the call. There is no reason that they should have to wait, right? If they want to wait, that's up to them. But there should be no reason on your end of why they should wait to be able to actually sign and lock you in and actually pay you money right on the spot. So that means that you have to switch to an automated e-signature signing contract type of software. So we use Proposify. There's a bunch of other ones out on the market. DocuSign, things like that. Have something where people can just e-sign super quick that you could easily just prep even before you get on the call, the stuff that you need. And then you can just go, hey, just give me 2 seconds here. I'm just going to finish the contract for you. I'll send it over. You can look through it right on the call.
Pull up
right
your
here.
email as I'm getting this ready for you.
And no rush. Take your time. Look through it. Let me know if you have any questions. Like, do it on the call, right? So have it filled out, pre-filled out before, and then adjust anything you need to do when you've actually on the call talking about it. But have them sign on the call and have some type of payment processor that you can utilize to actually receive a deposit on the spot. Whether it's like $200, whether it's 20% of the project, whatever you decide. 50%
I would say 50% of the project. You can take 50%
of the project. We like to do sometimes smaller deposits if it's a new kind of client and you're just developing the relationship and maybe it's a big deal. You could do like a $500 deposit. And you could even say if someone's like, I don't know if I really want to pay that right now. Like there is one other person I need to talk to. I think they're going to be totally in, but I'm just not quite sure. You can just take like a $500 deposit and be like, hey, there's a 24-hour totally refundable
window
on this. So if you have a random conversation with somebody and for some reason it just doesn't work out, or if it's a wedding person, you're like, if your fiance just randomly breaks up with you in the next 24 hours, which I know is not going to happen because you're awesome, but this is totally refundable in the next 24 hours. But I want to lock this in now because I know that you really want to get this done, or I know that you need this project solved in your business. So let's get it on the calendar right now. And in fact, let's actually book our first shoot, or let's book our first strategy call or whatever. So remove all friction from all the steps of them being able to buy with you. And I'm serious. That is like one of the biggest game changers when it comes to reducing ghosting, is removing friction from next steps.
Yeah, that is huge, guys. And the amount of creatives that think like that's not okay to do. Like we meet a lot of creatives where we tell them, we take payment over the phone. We take payment on calls. We make people sign contracts on calls. They go like, that's so like pushy of you. They're like, that's really pushy. And I'm like, no, it's not pushy. They just said they want to work with us. Like, let's do it. Awesome. Cool. Well, hey, let's take a few minutes. Let me get you the contract. I'll get you a deposit invoice. Like, it's not a weird thing at all. And in fact, sometimes it's even preferred because these people also have busy lives. They don't want to have to be tracing down. I'll give you an example, okay? We have, I'm going through my process right now to become a U.S. citizen. I'm filing for that, which is awesome. It's been like 5 years coming. I've been living in the States for like 5 years now as a green card holder, and I'm officially going to be pursuing becoming an American. So point is, we're working with an immigration lawyer, and what I really like about what he does is they don't go, oh yeah, here, let's get you over this thing, and we got to pay before, we always have to pay him before we get on a call with him. Typical lawyer stuff. And instead of them just being like, hey, we sent you an email, like, hopefully you can find it, they just straight up call me and say, hey, great, before you get on this call with the lawyer today, I'm just going to need to take your card details. I'm like, great, here it is. And what I like about that is I don't have to now waste a bunch of like brain energy trying to go find the email and figure out how it all works. I just like that they're just straight up and like, great, let me just call you quick before you get on this call. We'll take your payment information. So there's an ease to it that is really nice. So I want to encourage you to think about that and adopt that into your business. Okay. Number 4, okay? Number 4 is if someone has unspoken objections. So an objection is something, a concern, an idea, a question that is going to stop them from moving forward. So example, if you're selling a wedding, a objection could be, well, I don't know if this person is going to be able to handle the chaos of my family. Like, do they do timeline prep? And are they going to keep my family on track? Because we need a wedding photographer that's going to be on it. Like, that's a very like nuanced objection, right? In the brand world, an objection might be something like, well, we've worked with people like you before, and we didn't really like the video and they delivered late, so we're a little bit not sure if we want to move forward with you. These are all examples of objections. Or it's too expensive, right? I don't know if we can afford this right now. We can't afford that payment. These are all examples of objections. And any unspoken objection is massive friction in that person moving forward. And unspoken objections lead to you getting ghosted. So part of a sales call, the whole idea of a sales call is to be asking questions that is going to expose these objections. And what often happens is you push towards the end of a call. If they say something like, yeah, this is all great, we really want to probably move forward with you, but we need a little bit more time to think about it, okay? If someone says something like that, you can go, ding, 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 they've got objections. Let me ask the question. Awesome. Hey, it's great. You need time to think about it. Can you give me some more information on what you need to be thinking on? Because I've got a lot of information. I would love to make sure you're equipped so that as you're thinking through, you've got all the information needed to make a great decision. And then you shut up and you listen. And what they're going to say, oh, yeah, we just need to think about it. we just don't know if we have the money. It's like, great. Well, do you know I have payment plans? Like that way you can start to see their objections and then you can start to handle those objections. And one day when you do this, you'll be shocked because you'll be on a call with someone and they say, oh, we've got this objection and this objection. And you'll start to ask questions about those objections and they're going to end up booking with you on the call because you're helping handle those objections. So point is that you really want to get to, when someone says, I need more time to think about it, you really want to get to the meat of like, what are you trying to think about? Let me give you some more information on it. I think it's great you need to think about it, but let me give you some more information on what you need to think about, okay? So that is number 4, is that when people need time or they need space to think about something, it really probably means they have unanswered questions that you need to be able to pull out of them so that you can actually answer. Absolutely. And our dog is crying for a toy. This is his little Santa Claus toy he's ripping apart. Hold on.
Just crying in the background.
I'll give it to him.
All right. So
he's objecting to this podcast moving on unless he gets his little gingerbread man. But
yes, that is number 4 for fixing when it comes to ghosting. Number 5 is establishing a clear timeline to whatever the heck thinking about it means. Okay, I need to go talk about it with this person, or
this is after the call's over.
This is at the very end of the call where they're like, hey, you know what? This was awesome. You gave me a lot to think about, and they're not ready to book yet. That's totally fine. That's going to happen. Not every person, don't think that you failed because not every single person's booking with you on the call.
Totally.
However, there is a way to combat this rather than like, okay, no worries, just let me know. And then you're stuck after the call wondering, okay, when are they going to reach out to me? When should I follow up? Are they going to be annoyed when I follow up? The way that you can fix this is by instead just saying, oh, like, let me know or whatever, or can't wait to hear from you. You can go, okay, yeah, totally. I know it's a lot to think about. Absolutely, that's great. I want you to really, think about whether or not this is the right thing for you. But when can I follow up with you? So like,
when can I expect to hear from you?
When can I expect to hear from you? I just want to follow up with you because I know you really want this project done, or I know that you're really looking to book someone soon. I know that the wedding's coming up and you want to make sure you lock that in. I'm sure that stress is going to be off your plate soon. When should I follow up with you if I don't hear from you? That way they know. And Joey said this earlier today. He's like, there's so many people pleasers out there. They don't want you to follow up. So they might just actually book on the call with you right then. Like they might actually be like, you know what? Actually, no need to follow up. I already know that I want to do
So
this.
an example of that is you'd be like, oh yeah, I think I need some more time. And then Christy would say something like, well, great. When can I assume to be hearing from you? Can you let me know in the next 24 hours? Yeah. And then they go, yeah, we should just, let's just do it. I'm good, right?
Yeah.
Because here's the funny thing. Like half the time people actually say they need time, they don't actually need more time. They just live and operate out of a model where they just believe that you shouldn't maybe buy things on the spot. And so you giving them like a reason to do it and saying it's okay if you do want to book right now, like that's okay. That actually can help some people break that.
Oh, totally.
And it is funny that when you say, hey, when can I expect to hear from you? It does 2 things. Number 1, it puts a lot of pressure on them to make sure that they can give you a response by then, which is awesome. So you really want to always end a call. If you're not going to get a booking on the call, you always want to end the call by saying, when can I expect to hear from you? And you want to set the date because they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe like a week and a half from now. And that's just a long time. So you could say something like, hey, when do you think I could expect to hear from you? Does something like Friday work, or just 2 days from now, or does later tonight work for you, right? So you want to ask questions like that. And then the second part about this is that it gives you an opportunity and gives you permission to follow up, right? Which is huge.
Which is massive. So following up is one of the biggest aspects of basically getting people to go from a ghost to back to being a real person and actually booking you. So you want to follow up in a really great way. So 1, always asking, hey, when can I follow up with you on the call is great. If you for some reason skip that step, if you forget about it, don't worry, you can still follow up. What I would do is immediately follow up after the phone call, after the Zoom call. Send them a quick message. First of all, it's just super polite to be like, hey, thanks so much for meeting with you.
Yeah, appreciate the time.
Appreciated the time. Here's a little overview of what we talked about. Here's maybe like a relink to the couple of links that maybe you had sent them, or some examples that you had showed them of maybe some other past work or things like that. Send them something right away with as well like call to action. Like, hey, and I know you said that you needed, until tomorrow. If you decide before then that you're just in, just hit this link.
Jump on in.
I would also say, so send that right immediately after. If they don't reach out to you by the time they said they were going to, or if they didn't end up saying anything, just follow up with them the next day. The next day, and then if they don't respond to you from then, wait like 3 days. Depending on how time sensitive the project is. If it's like, hey, our wedding photographer dropped out and our wedding's next week, then I would follow up every day, right?
I'll follow up every hour.
I follow up every hour.
I know you guys need to book somebody.
But I think like right after the meeting, the next day, give it 3 days. Maybe then you can give it 5 days if you really want to, if you feel like they're not interested. But I would just keep following up. And the reason you can keep following up is because you seriously, like if someone reaches out to you to try to solve their problem, it's on you to keep following up until you
they've
get
asked
to the point
for
of
it.
Solving the problem.
They've invited you into that, which is huge.
So that's a big deal.
That's massive, guys. Follow-ups are where so many deals are won. Like 70% of deals come from follow-ups. So make sure you're following up well. And then last but not least, number 6 is you just got to know when to drop it, okay? If you're getting ghosted, you do need to know when to just drop it. So if it's been a couple weeks, if they never really expressed a ton of interest in the beginning, like you will waste more time after weeks and weeks of following up, or weeks of, even if you're not following up, just like hoping they respond. Like get that out of your brain and just move on, pursue new business. So we want to leave you with this, guys, for this podcast, that you have permission to book people on calls. You have permission to take payment on the call. You have permission to send them a contract on the call.
Yeah.
You also have permission, if they're not going to book on the call, to ask them, are you willing to get me an answer in the next 48 hours, 24 hours, by tonight? Oh, you need to talk to your husband? Awesome. Can I give you any more information so you can talk to your husband? And will you guys be getting back to me tonight? Like, these are all things you are allowed to say. They're very normal, okay? So if you're not doing any of these, make sure you start implementing these into your sales process, and you're going to be in a way better spot. You're still going to get ghosted because it happens to everybody, but hopefully it is going to decrease the amount at which you are getting ghosted, and you're going to get more bookings in return, which is awesome, and that's the whole goal. So if you guys love this episode, share it to a friend that you know gets ghosted. Send it to your friends. Send it to the group chat of photographers that you're hanging out with and having fun with, whether in the film space, the photo space, the social media space. If they're a creative of any time, any type, make sure you send this to them so that they can also experience the life lived where you just don't get ghosted as much, because you're implementing these 6 fixes to these 6 big problems to getting ghosted. And most importantly, share the show. Come hang out with us on Instagram. And we'll be catching up with you guys next week. So hopefully this was great.
We'll see you guys next week with a round 14 update with some of those wins.
Yeah.
We'll see you then.
See ya.